Hi, it's time for another recess. So I hope you are ready to exhale a little bit, relax your mind, and just play for a few minutes. So today I was thinking about the spirit of this space, this recess space. And one of the things that popped in my mind was the Fool card from the tarot deck. I've posted an image of the classic Rider-Waite deck tarot image of the Fool. And so you can take a look at that card. But I love this Fool archetype. And, if you are not familiar with tarot, each of the cards is an archetype. It represents some aspect of human consciousness that we can tap into, or that we all have all of these archetypes within us. And some are more expressed than others. Some are not expressed at all. They're what you would call repressed or suppressed into our psyche. But the Fool represents that sort of childlike mindset that we all have, the beginner mindset that Buddhists talk about, which is the fresh, unblemished mind that approaches any new experience with a sense of not knowing. That part of us that is not just okay with the unknown, but actually finds the unknown to be exciting, an adventure. And if you look at the Fool card, that you could say he's a fool because he's about to step off a cliff. And he looks very okay about that. He just looks kind of, you could say oblivious, or you could say that he's just okay with it. He's walking into the unknown. He's taking the leap or taking the step off the cliff, and he's okay with what comes after that. Now, you could judge that person and say they should be more cautious and careful. But perhaps a lot of us are a little too cautious and careful much of the time, right? We want to know what's coming. We want to be able to predict the future. We want to be able to control outcomes. The Fool doesn't care anything about that. He doesn't care about outcomes. He's just moving along in life, enjoying his adventures with that, again, beginner mind of being spontaneous, being open to whatever shows up for him. And I think that's a really lovely spirit. He's open to surprises. He doesn't need to know what's ahead. And I think a lot of us are very concerned with trying to forecast things. And of course, especially in the world we live in today, I think it's really hard to forecast things. I mean, there are people who are trying to do it all the time. The weather, the economy, and trying to control these things in different ways. And now trying to control the weather, I don't know about that at this point, but trying to control economic outcomes, so we have institutions that are trying to do that all the time. But there's so many things that are out of our control. I mean, you can try for a period of time, but stuff's going to happen. So I'm not saying that, there's not a point to making uh, calculated moves on a chessboard. That's a game that we all play. But at the same time, there's a freedom in just living your life one day at a time, one moment at a time, not pretending to know what's going to happen, and just being open to whatever is going to happen, being open to surprise. Again, the term fool, has been used throughout the ages. You had the fool or the jester who back in the Middle Ages was the only person in the court who was allowed to actually tell the truth. But he could only do it through comedy. So, and he did that though, right? He could actually speak truth to power. But because he was doing it in jest, it wasn't taken so seriously. And we have comics today who also do that, right? Who get out on the stage and poke fun at people in power, and so far haven't gotten arrested. At least in the United States of America, which is still, I think, mostly a free country. But the Fool he's free. He's free. he is not imprisoned by his thoughts. He's not imprisoned by institutions. He's not imprisoned by anyone or anything. And that's what I love about this character. He is a um, happy-go-lucky, open to life, open to experience, ready for anything, ready for adventure. What if we just like allowed ourselves to be fools for a day, to not know what was coming, to walk boldly and courageously into the unknown and expect the best, not expect the worst, expect the best, expect things to turn out well. What does the fool bring to mind for you? And you might want to do a little research about this fool archetype because I think he's a very fascinating character and um, it's something. It's a spirit we could all learn from and maybe integrate more into our lives. So a little bit, caring a little less about having everything just right and getting it right and all that, and just taking the next step. Even if that next step may be over a cliff, maybe especially if it's over a cliff, taking a risk. So maybe invite a little fool energy into your life this week. See what that gets you. And I would love to hear your experience in the chat below, in the comments. Please leave a comment. Let me know what you think about these thoughts. Let me know what your view of the fool is or of this video, and I would love to know. Thanks again for tapping into a little recess, and I hope you come and visit me again because this is a fun place for us to play together, to put aside the grind, to put down the mental load, and just relax, rest, and play.